Hey folks, Pallet here again. Just wanted to give a quick update on the village building project I've been working on. Gonna fly down here from our starting location. One of the first things I did was I built myself a nice little stables here. Got a donkey, a pig, a couple of horses. Horses are saddled and ready to go. Of course, we got gates here to get them in and out. And I thought that the podzol that had been left over from building some spruce trees worked out pretty well as just kind of a front entry yard, the packed down dirt from the animals going in and out. Really not a super complex build. This one was the horse stable by It's Marlowe. One of the things that he included in this that I got a little picky about just making sure I had everything in the right orientation were the campfires that are used as the porch cover there. Because if you don't line them up just right, then they're going every which direction underneath here. And so I spent a little bit of time making sure I got them all oriented the same way. Other than that, nice little build. Uses some barrels here, mostly for decoration, but of course barrels are always good for storage, and they just make a nice addition to spruce blocks. Right behind that is one of my sugarcane farms that I've got a couple of them. I don't have any large area dedicated for sugarcane, so I just come and harvest here once in a while when I need some. Next project that I added in was this building here. This is probably one of the fanciest looking building tutorials that I have followed so far. They included the decorations on the wall panels, a mixture of stone types for the chimney, including some that look like missing bricks. You may be able to hear a villager there. I've got him inside. We've got window boxes of some flowers and continued decoration up top, as well as a kind of a variable slope roof. Instead of just using straight staircases or something, it uses a mixture of staircases and regular blocks so that the roof kind of comes up to a sharper peak, which I thought was an interesting idea. I have not been able to recreate that well on my own yet. Um, Over here, we can actually look into the bakery, and we will go in. I'll show you a little bit of what we've got going on inside here. So walk into a carpeted floor, and we've got a shelf with some muffins and some bread. Now, this was something my daughter actually showed me. There are there is a command in Minecraft where you can summon in the head of another player, and I've done that before for some of my armor stand statues that I've built. But there are people that have made their heads look like different sorts of objects, different creatures. And so these are actually head models from other players' characters. These are ones that I've put in the hand of an armor stand. Using the armor stand mod, I've turned the armor stand invisible and actually shrunk the armor stand down to kind of a miniature size so that the muffins are a little bit more in scale with the loaves of bread. So just a nice little way to add some decoration in here. We've got another loaf of bread there. We've got nice little storage up here where I keep a few of those things. So you can see here, this is a character named Bedhead Bread, and this one was a character named Molflin. So I keep a few spares in there so I don't have to summon them in again anytime soon. In here we have kind of the just the little workspace for the baker. We've got some cookies that are cooling out here on the tabletop. We've got a nice little area here that uses looms that look really nice as kind of a set of shelves or a cooking range. I did like what they did with the gates here. So we've got beehives up top for storage, kind of like little cupboards, and they used gates here, open gates, as the supports that would hold all of that up. And then, of course, we've got the brick oven here where all of the baked goods are made. And you can't really see it too well, but under these slabs there are campfires that provide the smoke that go up. And then right here we have, well, we have a little set of shelves in the nook by the stairs, but we've got a set of stairs that allows us to come up here to a storage room. Again, lots of chests and barrels and that sort of thing, and a living space. And there's, well, he's not really a baker, but he's living in the house right now. And just a nice little double bed, some bookcases. Again, the tutorial made great use of barrels just for their texture in the sill, the bottom frame of the window here. I went ahead and added another fireplace in here in the living area. I may have mentioned it before. I really, I don't know, there's something about single block chimneys that bugs me, where you just have a single block of stone up on the roof and then a campfire on top of it surrounded by some trapdoors. They do look nice, but there's something about it that just irritates me, that there's no hollow space for the smoke to go through. And so this tutorial originally had one of those single block chimneys up top, and this attic space, this tiny little room up here, didn't really have, it didn't have much that I needed to do with it. So I decided to put in an attic chimney right above, or an attic fireplace, right above the fireplace that I put in down here. And those actually, if we were to look from the roof coming straight down, there is a clear space here for the smoke to float up. This was another design choice that was new to me in this tutorial, was using trapdoors as the backing for a ladder, so that the ladder didn't have to be flat up against a wall. You'd be able to stick it out a little bit, which I just thought was a creative way of using trapdoors, something I had never considered. So we come back down here. This is our bakery. One of the things I want to do eventually is get a sign hanging out here with maybe an item frame that has a loaf of bread in it or something to show what this place is. Then on the other side of our little path, which I have not completed, is a blacksmith shop. And this one is probably just as complex a build as the bakery was, but in a different way. This does not have the massive solid decorated walls that the bakery had with these inset panels. It has a lot of open frame walls here. In fact, there really aren't any solid walls on this one. And it took me a little bit of looking to find a blacksmith shop that I liked. And this one had a lot of, it needed a lot of scaffolding, because you see we've got a nice large open atrium in here with armor stands on display up top. We have this forge area with a roof, and it took a lot of building and knocking down scaffolding to get all of this done and get it in the right way. Lots of slabs as well. Now you can see there are some stairs in here, lots of trapdoors for decoration, which kind of helps with the tapering aspect of the supports. This build didn't really use as many barrels for decoration, or just like construction blocks. It just used barrels as barrels, because this is, after all, a blacksmith shop. They need lots of room for storage. We've got a smithing table here. This again, with this sword here, this is using the armor statue mod, where you can put an item in the armor stand's hand, and then basically turn the armor stand invisible and line everything up so it looks like the item is sitting on a surface. So we've got that there. We've got a sword hanging on the wall here. Over here we've got an axe that's being worked on, anviled there. This was the large forge that was part of the original tutorial. You notice with magma blocks underneath it, and if you watch really carefully, there are some smoke streams that come up from underneath the magma block from campfires that are right below them. So up top, that is really just a display area. There's no easy way to get up there unless you just scaffold back up. Down here, we have another chimney. This chimney area, I should be able to crawl out here. Ah, you can't see anything because of the smoke. It's pretty much just open straight up to the sky. So again, we've got magma blocks here with campfires underneath, and we've got them surrounded with stairs to make just a low, easy to access forge. And of course, we've got a quenching bin here where weapons and tools can be quenched. Again, a really kind of ornate build, a bit fancier than some of the tutorials I normally follow, but I really liked the open look of it, the way that it just has this corner here that you can walk in whichever way you need to, but it did not have a place for the blacksmith to sleep. So off to the side, well, I should give credit where credit's due on this. This is from Spaghetti's Medieval Village series. It was episode 12. Spaghetti did a tutorial on how to build a blacksmith shop. Now over here, this was a completely separate build, and let's see where I put my credit marker. The Underground Bunker House by Big Tony MC. I think I may have something else of Big Tony MC's in my village. So this is just an underground bunker house, just like it said. Really a fairly simple construction up top. You know, we've got just some stairs, some blocks, some logs, a couple of trapdoors, and some buttons for decoration. Again, we used campfires to make this covered awning. We come in here, we've got a little bit of storage right up against the roof. Down in here, I wanted to make this the place where the blacksmith could live. So we've got plenty of storage, just like always. Storage is a necessity. We've got a smithing table, crafting table. We've got a cauldron, oven there. We've got a bed here where we used, we left an open block behind, put a couple of glowstone in there to help light up this end of the room, and then stuck a couple of banners in to make it look like propped up pillows, and of course an armor stand showing some of the work he's done. And this right here was pretty much the tutorial. In fact, this wall was just a solid wall. It had a shelf similar to this. It may have had a crafting table or two in it. But I figured if this was going to be the blacksmith's home, I wanted to give him a place where in the middle of the night, if he had something, he had sudden inspiration, had a dream about something he wanted to try, he could just walk right in here and work on his private projects. This roof is necessarily a bit lower than this just because of the landscape outside. I didn't want to have to completely re-landscape anything, but again, we've got a chimney here that actually leads up so the smoke comes out of it. Now this roof, this ceiling here, is what the tutorial showed, which, again, it made use of the barrels as a decorative block, and then kind of alternated slabs and trapdoors in between the spruce and dark wood. Just made a nice little kind of cozy feel to this area back here. And I tried to replicate that through in here to some degree, but with a smaller room, lower ceiling, I just couldn't do as much with it. So let's go up and we're going to look at this chimney. So right here is the chimney coming up from the blacksmith's private forge. And you can see I used some regular stone blocks of various types to build up the main wall. We used some walls on the corners, and then we used upside down stairs at the top to give it a little bit of a lip. And if I can get up here, there we go. You can see all the way down, so you can, if I really wanted to, I could drop down in there and probably be stuck if I didn't have my elytra on. And over here we can see the smoke coming up from the low forge in the blacksmith's shop. And we've also got the taller one. Now this one I made a little bit of a concession on. It's not a straight shot from the main forge area up, but I did try to keep an open channel all the way. So there really is a campfire up at the top. It it's a little bit of cheating, but as long as my chimney has a hollow shaft running through it, I'm happy. Then we come over here, and this was a house that I built just trying to use some of the principles that I've been learning from other tutorials that I've followed. I've been watching a lot of BOO's videos on basic building techniques and trying to pick up some of the things from the other hermits. So I built just a basic little house in here using some different types of spruce wood blocks and regular oak for the supports, and then of course, or I'm sorry, these are birchwood blocks, and then I've got the spruce wood here and up as the roof. I like the way that the spruce wood planks blend in, how they work with the oak logs. And of course, we've got just kind of a little kitchen area here, another loaf of bread, and a place to cook and clean and all of that. We've got a couple of beds here, just separated by a divider, using again trap doors. Little kind of workspace here, and up top, I thought I would put a little rooftop garden. So we have flowers that our villager could tend. We've got a little composter and a place to store seeds or, gardening tools, that sort of thing. And of course, in the event that we actually get um, some villagers to move in over here with this fence going all the way around, they won't be able to hop out and accidentally fall off the roof. Now on the outside, we've got a little bit of an overhang here, a little shelter, or a small patio on the back, small little work area. We've got trapdoors as shutters for the windows, a couple of hay bales, a couple of shrubs by the front door. I kind of wanted this to be a little bit of an overgrown house look. So, we've got a couple of barrels hidden back here behind the weeds, but I bone mealed the grass a couple of times to get the weeds and grass to grow up and just make it look like it hasn't been well taken care of. Now this house here, oh, blocked you off a little bit. This house is another one of my building experiments, trying to use some of those building ideas and principles. Haven't gotten too fancy with the walls. I've just tried to do a little bit of texturing. And in fact, if we come over here, which I think this bridge may be new since my last video as well, I had a bit of not really even a creek down there, but just a little bit of running water and a bit of those cows are loud, and a little bit of a chasm, a mini chasm, shall we say, that I wanted to have a bridge over to make it easier to get back and forth, because I was having to go around the long way, one way or the other, and I just got tired of that, so I built myself a bridge. So we've got this house. I tried doing some interesting things. Tried doing a couple of different levels of roof, some upper story rooms that hung out a little bit over the lower story. Tried to do a cobblestone foundation. And I don't know that this is really my best work. Here you can see I was kind of taking some lessons from the blacksmith shop with using trap doors to help taper the support pillars on the front. So yeah, this wasn't really my best, but it is a good solid house. We've got plenty of crafting in here for whichever villagers decide to move in. And we've got a little spiral staircase comes up here. Used trapdoors as a little banister to keep anybody from falling down. And some paintings and storage, and a couple of beds up here, a couple over here. Nice little desk. And then up in the attic, we've got a small enchanting station. Excuse me. Oh, I got a tickle in my throat. And then the last one, excuse me, the last house that I've been working on was this one. And I don't think I've got a credit marker for this one yet. Um, I I closed the tab that I found this one, the video for this one in on my web browser. There was a creator who was doing a video on, I think it was like 30 different ideas for things you can build. And he showed a really short time lapse of building something similar to this. So I used some of my own materials. I see I've got some stripped birch in here, oak, got some spruce planks and stairs for the roof. I kind of followed his layout, but used my own materials. Got a lot of trapdoors for the ceiling and a single bed. I really haven't decorated it much in here, but we've got a nice wide window where we can, look at the neighbor's house. We can kind of look across at the town hall, and a little window up there that just lets in some light. And one of the things that I added, because my landscaping actually accommodated this, there was this area right here originally had had actually been the surface of the ground, and I terraformed straight across it so I could have a level area to build some houses. And I had kind of forgotten that I had left a completely open little cave down here until I think I heard an Enderman teleporting around down here. So I created a back entrance to the house here, and I thought that what I might do, if I can figure out a good way to decorate it, is I'm going to turn this into a leather worker's house. So maybe down here would be the tannery area, so he doesn't get, the smell and the mess of tanning all the hides coming in here. Which means I may eventually want to move my cows a little closer, or just put a pen for the cows over here. But anyways, that's yeah, those are the houses and the other structures that I've been working on. And there's one other thing, one other expansion that I'm actually in the middle of, and I debated whether I should show this or not. Before we get there, though, I have been trying to eliminate torches on the ground over here. You notice maybe over here you'll see we've got some torches still out on the ground, mostly just for practical reasons to keep mobs from spawning in here at night. But I didn't want to just leave torches planted in the ground. So another lesson that I've been learning, especially from watching some Hermitcraft streams, is under each of these little moss carpets is I think it's a shroom light. I was doing a lot of harvesting of, whatever they're called, the trees that you can find in the nether, and getting shroom lights from those. And so I started just digging a block, planting one of those shroom lights in, and then covering it with a moss carpet. And that still provides light to the area. The moss carpet is relatively transparent when it comes to light sources, and it allows me to get rid of a lot of these torches and maybe reuse them in lanterns, that sort of thing. So we've got our long wall here that's walled in the compound for a while. And you may notice over on the far end, I have been working on a bit of a watchtower. So we're going to start from the top and work our way down. We have some crenellations up here that are made from polished diorite blocks and slabs, and then raw diorite walls, which this place, since these are just a block high, if villagers ever get up here, this could be dangerous for them, because villagers don't always pay attention to whether they can survive a fall. We come down here, and I have left arrow slits in the walls. Now, hopefully we wouldn't need to be shooting in towards the compound, but more likely out. So I've got arrow slits all the way around so we can see in and out, get some light, and then I've made sure and left some supplies around for any defenders that would need to be up here. We've even got a crossbow on the table, a couple of arrows here, and in the barrels we've got a nice little stash of arrows. And if we come down here, this is why I mentioned it's still kind of under construction. I've got all my my shulker boxes with my construction materials in them here, and a couple of crafting tables. Now, we come down this way, we've got a single little bed down here, and we've got a wall, or a door, that leads outside of the wall. Now, it's starting to be night, so we're just going to sleep so we don't spawn any creepers. I had a creeper blow up right next to this the other day, and panicked me thinking I was going to have to rebuild my good portion of my tower. So again, done some texturing, trying to use different stone blocks to just give it some variety, give it a little bit more visual appeal. Tossed some banners up there that I made, and you notice we've got these polished diorite blocks that are coming down and ending with upside down stairs, just to provide, again, a little bit of a crown almost on top of the tower. And hopefully we'll be able to get a look at that from another angle here in a minute. So we come back up here to the main level. This door leads along the wall that kind of goes behind our giant tree house. This one leads along the wall that leads back towards the manor house and that whole construction area that we were just looking at with the blacksmith and the baker and all that. And then I have been walling in a whole new section over here and actually building a proper fortified wall. So we've got, again, I'm following through with the pattern that I established with this tower, where we've got the polished diorite blocks and slabs, and then the rough diorite walls in between. And when we get down and view it from the side, you'll see that the blocks also kind of come down like they do on the tower and provide a little bit of decoration for the wall. I had been debating whether to do that just on the outside of the wall or whether I should do it on the inside of the wall as well. And I had the diorite. I had actually gone on a diorite mining quest yesterday, so I went ahead and built these supports all the way down, put a little bit of decoration around, and once I'd finished with the outside, I still had enough diorite left over that I went ahead and completed it on the inside as well, so that whoever winds up living in here, whatever buildings I put in here, they'll have a nice little decorated wall to look at as well. And I also spent some time trying to texture the walls a bit, using raw stone, andesite, stone bricks, cobble, and I've still got some work to do, but again, I think it looks a lot nicer than just a solid one variety of stone going all the way up. But you notice here, I've got a lot of cobble still up at the top, and that was because I was just in a hurry and didn't want to break out my scaffolding to go up and change everything out. It started off looking just like this, just a long stretch of cobble, and that gets kind of boring. So I like to mix it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. So this area is probably the biggest single enclosure that I've made at one time. And one of the reasons for that is you may notice some stones here. These are marking out a plot of land for a single building. I've got an idea to put one building right up here that takes up this whole spot. Oh, and that sign probably would tell you what it was, but I think I'm going to let that be a surprise. And even with that huge, massive building right there, I'm going to have plenty of room to build other things. One of the things I have to take into consideration is that this wall is kind of it's blocking off a bit of a drop. Let's come back over here. And so we can see from this wall that the land just really kind of drops off right here. I have some plans for this little watery area down here, and I have plans for, well, there's one of my building markers right there, but the rest of this just goes really steeply down to the river's edge. So I'm thinking I may have to keep somewhat of a wall here, maybe not a fortified wall, but a bit of a wall just to keep the villagers from making dumb mistakes and falling over. And I may even just have to make kind of a big fancy bridge that will curve this direction over towards where we've got our other new section. It's one of those things that I really haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet, how I'm going to connect everything. But yeah, we've got plenty of space over here for building, and I've got big plans for this area. So that is, I think that's really everything new that I've added over the last couple of weeks. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. I will try to get, going forward, I'm going to try to make sure, of course, that I credit anybody whose tutorials I follow for new buildings, and I will try to get those down in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked seeing what I'm doing here, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment below, and let me know if you have any ideas, any thoughts, any buildings you'd like to see me add to my little village, because we've got a lot of work to go. We've got a whole lot of space to fill, and I think I'm going to be working on this one for some time. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.